Okay, now, this is what we have so far, and this is how it appears for us. Let's go back to our C prompt here. Now, as I've said before, you don't have to type all this stuff in. I'm just showing you that there are other ways that you can do divs and what have you. Now, you could just have a bunch of divs. It doesn't make any difference. You don't need asides, you don't need sections, you don't need to worry about any of this. You just could have a bunch of divs and be happy with that. And you could simply take what I'm showing you and make your own site from here, just making divs and H1s or whatever. But let's talk about something a little bit more interesting, something a little bit more intricate, something a little bit more important than simple divs, and those are anchor tags. Anchor tags are open A and close A. Now an open A, close A is going to give you nothing, because you have to actually tell it what it needs to do. And anchor tags have many purposes. They can be used in functions with JavaScript functions. They can be used with going to different links. So if you have another page, as I've said, let's go another. If you have another page, we go back to YouTube for a second. If you come here to YouTube, I've got home, I've got subscriptions. Everything I click on, every link here is another page. And that what we just did there is a blank window. But if we have another page, we don't want to sit here typing another .html to get to this blank page, and then when we go back, we have to type in Hiya again. What you want is you want a means to get to that page by just clicking on something. Now, if I go href, meaning HTTP reference, and I say another .html, you just type in another .html, it's no big deal. And once more, as I've said, you put the slash there because it's reading files. So that's another file, or another file in this whole folder, C prompt HTML. If we were to hit refresh, now you see there's blue, a line underneath, and if we click on it, we go here. Actually, forgot to put it in the folder. Got to tell it distinctly where to go. So if we click, we go here. We're back to another .html. And if you notice, now it turns purple. Anchor tags, or href anchor tags, have 4 states. They have the default state, the active state, the hover state, and the visited state. This is the visited state. Active is when you click on it, see it turns red, and hover is when you hover over it. Now, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff specifically now, but hrefs are also used, as I've said, as links if you do JavaScript. And they're ways, they're anchors, I've got puns, in your website. There are ways that you can travel through your different pages, ways you can go to different sections and whatever of your site or your application itself. And if we were to type in another and we were to say let me just actually type it through so you see it type through. And we were to go to there we go, okay. HTML, let's do HTML, HTML. If we were to do that on this page, save, and now we go here and we go back, you see we can just keep going back and forth. There's not much going on with this page. If you notice, it doesn't take long to do it, but also, as I've said, now they're both purple, and when you click on them, they're both red. And you can do that for all sorts of pages. So if you made another page, third.html, and we put a little H1 in there, well, H2, just for fun. And we go, I'm the third baby. And then we put a little anchor tag in there. And we'll go to the first page. And we'll go home. And we'll go to the second page. And we'll go another. And here we'll just put in now, as I've said, we have to tell it distinctly where we're going. The HTML file and this. We'll go third. HTML, the third. All right. Refresh and we got third. Home another, we can go home, we go anchors, we can go back, go through. So now, like I said, it's all anchors, it's all ways of referencing. href, HTTP reference, that's what it's short for. That's how you get your anchor tags, that's how you get your links. There is really nothing more to say about anchor tags, but just know that if you were to make a header with all the, if we go to Google, for instance, we'll go back to Google for now, right? And you see how we have these links here, images, Gmail, store, about. If we go here, you have like a header you want to have, or a navigation bar, you want to be able to navigate through all your different sites. And before we do that, let me talk about something that's similar to a anchor tag references and stuff like that. Let's talk about images, for instance. I mean, we should save media for its own thing, but let's throw it in here now. Okay, so you have anchor tags and everything, but what if you want to have a picture on your screen? Then you would do what's called an image. Now, images do not require a closing tag. They don't require a closing tag because they are referencing themselves. Remember what I said about meta? How it references itself and everything, and how the doc type is just one broad general scope. Images, more or less, they're fitting in for anything that fits information within it doesn't really need a closing tag per se. Anything that references itself. Images reference themselves. They are just referencing where you can find an image source. And let me see. I have images I can show you. Let me just go to their actual folders. Actually, wait, let's do it like this. If you want to do images, the best way to do it is to keep it within the folders that you have already. So let's make a new folder, we'll call them images. All right, we'll do that. Now, let me go to my downloads and let's take a picture from another thing I'm doing right now. Copy it. Now you could just download an image onto it directly. You don't have to go through this. I'll put this in images. Okay. And now if I were to go images and I were to say culture 19.jpg, and this is all I need. And then I will have an image there. See? This is going up on it's on Switchman channel. And we're playing Civilization 6, Gathering Storm. I'm doing a culture victory right now. I've done others in case you are interested. I do everything. That's images. We don't, as you say, we don't need to do anything else with images. We don't have to close it. We just have to say where we're getting these images from. And you could reference it from your download sites, whatever. If you're going on a server, like an actual paid server, you're going to be putting these images in the server's folders, more or less, or at least referencing the URLs. So you don't want to base it off of your home hard drive. That's a bad idea. You want to bring it to the server. You want to reference it through its URL. Again, URL, just it's referenced in that in this bar. That's all it is. But you wouldn't do it directly from your hard drive because it can help people get into your hard drive, and you don't want any of that. Also, it most likely wouldn't work because it's not connected to your hard drive. But whatever the case, that's how you do images. Videos is the same thing. I don't have any videos to show you, but videos, you more or less have to do a source. But videos you need to close out. And the reason is because videos do more than just reference themselves. Videos, you have to reference the video, and then within the video area you can put other things, and you can also determine whether or not you have a place. I think if I could just, let me see, I think something will come up if I were to just do this. And I could show you its base. No, okay, I gotta put something in there. All right, well, we're not gonna worry about videos. We're not gonna put videos into anything. I mean, I'll show them to you later on, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of anchor tags and images. And in a way, it's good because it's a contrast between things that have stuff in between in a closing tag and things that don't. Because as I've said, with images, it's referencing something. It's referencing something within itself, whereas this is actually producing something. So the opening tags produce something, and then you have to close the tag so the HTML or the server knows where it stops. Image sources, doc types, these are things, metas, these are things that don't need to be closed off because they're just references. So we referenced the image, we referenced the anchors, we are all referenced out, we're all presented, but I already mentioned the idea of anchor tags, and I already mentioned the idea of images, and I already mentioned the idea of headers. So what do you say we stop here, because we're going to go into something a little bit more interesting when we create a header or a navigation bar and make this appear to be kind of like what you would expect from an actual website. So we'll be back in a second for more of that.